So, welcome everybody. I'm very, very happy to introduce to you my dear friend Viola Edward. She is a psychotherapist and a breathwork mentoring leader, trainer. Viola is working as a breathworker since forever, I should almost say. And Viola has a very interesting story, fascinating background, but most of all, a very deep expertise and human connection, as I know her. So, welcome, Viola.
Thank you, Grit. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be together celebrating this beautiful day. And it's so nice of you to say that I've been working in breathwork forever. Actually, I know and I respect so much many of my teachers, colleagues who started much before me. I started in the 1993, and I started having consciousness about breath when in 1991, when I really discovered what is meditation. And then from there and being in a process myself, this time not as a psychotherapist, but as a patient of psychoanalysis. It was a huge discovery being as a patient of psychoanalysis for 4 years to discover what is meditation, and then my encounter with conscious connected breathing. And it seems like I was put in soak all those years working in self-development and transactional analysis, transpersonal psychotherapy and psychoanalysis. And then that come to my life, like the breath, conscious connected breathing come to my life, and just I become alive. So yeah, it seems like forever, because then I was 34 years old. Now I'm 61. Oh, I was 30, yeah, in my early 30s. And it seems like I had passed the first part of my life, just not acknowledging life. So when I had this encounter with life through the breath, it seems like I lighten up all over. And sometimes it seems like I still in that stage. It's like, wow, wow. There is life, there is vibration, there is so beautiful. So yeah, since then, I've been taking breathwork to wherever I go, and I have training, and I train breathwork mentors, and I include the conscious connected breathing, the consciousness about the breathing in everything I do. Everything. Yeah. So I end wherever I go. The one beside me, I end many times in the airplane, because as you know, I travel a lot doing this session because somebody is panicky, or when I go to toilet, I see somebody is panicking, so I sit there. So I'm in that action almost all the time. At the airports, in the lines, in the airplane. So yeah, me and breathwork, we live together day and night.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So the topic you came up to talk about was breathwork for recovery. So I would really want to transition into the topic, and
yeah. So maybe some of you who are watching us now is like me in recovery. You know, we stay the rest of our life in recovery when we had passed through the shock of addiction. There is a difference between stopping an addiction and become sober, or be in recovery. Because when a person just stop and they don't work in themselves, they stop that object of whatever was the addiction, but the cause that, and the pain and the trauma that took us there, and how our character transformed when we were there, stay more or less the same. And then the sadness and the anger and the character sharpen more into isolation or anger, or become more neurotic. And of course, our families will be happy that you stop consuming whatever you were consuming or doing. So at the beginning, everybody is happy, but if you don't go into the process of recovery, if you don't learn how to live without the object of your addiction, then it's also a misery of life. It's very, very difficult for you and for your family and for your community and your work colleague, etc. So I was blessed of, in my process, when I start letting go of addiction, and I'm going to talk about a couple of them here because of the time, not only because of shame. I will talk about the others, but I was very much hooked as a chain smoker of 5 packs of cigarette a day and alcohol and drinking every day. And when I understood that I was driving myself in a way to death, because this is what happens when you're an addict, you are death in movement. You don't connect with the vibration of life. Family grow and you're absent, and people are claiming you, and you want to answer. You want to go there, but then you can't because you're trapped in the object of the addiction. We know that all addicts lie. We know that addict will promise to stop, will promise to do this, but if the action is needed, the willpower is needed. So the process of recovery is a tough process, and addict needs support. The addict is not non-intelligent or just a liar. It's just that it's an illness. We need to understand that addiction is an illness, and we cannot just decide, I don't want to have the cancer, I don't want to have the diabetes, or I don't want to have the addiction. We need external support. And in that process, breathwork is magnificent, because depending on the addiction, you will need certain support. Now, if we include breathwork into the recovery process, it will have a multiple impact. I'm going to talk about 3 of the impact. First, during the recovery, and when we're letting go the addiction, and then we inhale consciously and we exhale consciously, that will help us to be grounded and to be in the present. And it will help us to have hope, because we will be connecting with life. That's something huge, because, I know you understand me. The abstinence, you feel like you're dying. I mean, you feel like you're dying when you consume, and you feel like you're dying when you stop consuming. It's just how to be grounded and be able to connect what life is providing you through the breath. Then, for your family to see you, for your support group to see you, that you're taking the time to breathe consciously and say, before a reaction, to say, I know how to breathe. I know. Just give me 1 second. Just let me do 20 conscious connected breathing. Just let me do my exercise of coherent breathing. Let me do what somebody guy was talking yesterday about, the miraculous 3-second breathing. Whatever you call it, whatever in our different technique and methodology we do, they see you alive. They see you, that you're engaged with life. And the third impact is that when those of you who go to a rehab center, who pass there the 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 3 months, or whatever time that pass, and then, okay, we stopped, okay? And you have the first support that you stop. Now you have to continue your life without that addiction that was so involved in every area of your life. You need to change friends, maybe sometimes you need to change houses. So having your friend, the conscious connected breathing, having that consciousness about the breath will help you to dive, to surf to the abstinence syndrome so much easier, so much easier. So for many, many years, I have applied the conscious connected breathing in outpatient in the recovery process. And in 2017, I had the opportunity to be while in a rehab center, and I had the opportunity to be as a part of the team of the clinical director, because the clinical director was coming from another country, and I was there. So I was one of the few women in that, the woman, I would say one woman in that medical board, and convinced them to let me do the breath work in the process. So I had the experience being an inpatient, and that was marvelous for my process, was fantastic to see. And so then my dream of including breathwork in the process of recovery revive. But now I have changed my dream, because before I had to have a rehab center. I always had the dream to have a rehab center, transpersonal rehab center, a breathwork rehab center, when whatever the 12 step and all other methodology and the breathwork and the psychotherapy and one day I had a very good breathing before going to sleep, a very good session, and wake up with a smile in my face, like, oh, I don't have to have a rehab center. I have to have a program and train therapists in all rehab centers in the world to become breath worker. And therefore, everybody who goes through a rehab center will have also the possibility to get into session. And of course, dreams don't stop there. So I have the other part of the dream that I have programmed to train breath worker to be able to mentor in rehab centers, because it's another dynamic. So this part of my dream, it has not been easy. It has been, but I'm quite involved in that world. I'm quite involved with one of the beautiful organization that the name is ICANT, International Conference for Addiction and Associated Disorder. Mm-hmm. And already last year, I had a beautiful space there to do a breathwork session. So we are working on it. And this is where I am. And I am a live example of what breathwork does. Because I'm a very healthy person. Of course, I stopped smoking and drinking, and I have such a consciousness about what is my body and what is my well-being, and it's my duty to transmit and transfer that to the rest of the world, to what breathwork did in my journey of recovery. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So actually, what you explain is that you don't only give breathwork as an anchor to those people, but at the same time they are working with their issues that brought them to the addiction as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because as psychotherapists, we work into, is the person didn't decide just, there's many stages into how people go into addiction, from the curiosity to the need to belong, to the need to relax, or to the need to keep alive, Mm-hmm. So it's what is it that take people to all these stages. And also we work about, in my training, about, and this is why mastering distress is so related to mm-hmm. recovery process, because we know that is another stressful situation that will make a person to jump from one stage into the process to another stage, from being a consumer to be highly consumer, and then to be abusive, and then to jump into different stages of being an addict. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And every step of those, it was a stressful situation that make that push, and the person could not ground to use their resources and their experience and be grounded to be able to deal with that situation. Mm-hmm. So in this very particular time, of course, I'm very concerned about what's happening in the world, and how people are getting support. And I'm so pleased that we have all these conferences about breathwork and about conscious breathing, because this is what I think people need a lot in this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because the virus is connected to the lungs, because this is one of the the big not just symptom, but it's affecting the lungs in a major way. And I also share your concerns about the social distancing. I would rather call it physical distancing than social distancing, but that's another topic. Is that people with addictions might fall back into those patterns because the stress is getting higher because of this isolation. Is there something we as breath workers could do to offer more support to them in this moment?
Yeah, I agree with you about social distancing, because I think more physical, because we're not socially distant. And I know that in the world there is a lot of work doing. Like, I've been very involved with ICAD, and last year I traveled with them to Turkey and to Rome, to Istanbul and to Rome. And in Rome, it was extraordinary how the Red Cross was getting so much involved in the process of recovery. I heard some people exposing about how in some state of United States, the police was so involved in supporting people that if the person come and say, I'm an addict and I'm in trouble now, they will not take him to they will not, he will not have a record, but they will take him to a shelter. How society need to come together to face this epidemic. This is an epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of my colleague in US said we lost a generation, maybe in all this process of the opioid, etc. But now in this time, what we can do, I can tell you, maybe in every 3 to 5 homes, there is somebody who's suffering from this epidemic of being an addict, of being depending of a substance or a game. Or so many times we know who they are. Sometimes it's okay, a little bit quiet, and we try not to touch there. So what can you do? Just keep an eye on them. Don't be too much on them, but just don't abandon them. A text, a telephone call, just be aware that this is an illness and there is a lot of suffering. There is a lot of organization that gives support. We can later maybe I can text you of, apart from ICAD.com, ICAAD.com, that through ICAD you can connect with many other organizations that the person can call and ask for support, and can see so many interviews and so many articles about it. And the other thing I notice in the world of recovery is that many of us, we've been there in that obscurity, in that darkness, in that tunnel. And many of my colleagues are really like me. They came out from it, and our duty is to help. So you will find a lot of compassion and a lot of care in this world of recovery. Please don't doubt to ask for help. And please contact me. And if I can't help you, I will connect you with whom you should connect in this moment. Yes.
Yeah, I think this is a great message to send out, that people can find somebody, or that it is okay to hand out and ask for help in this situation.
Definitely. I will not be alive if I will not ask for help. I will not be here for you, with you, and for you, and for me, and for my family, definitely. And every time there is much less stigma about it. It's so, just ask for help, and you will receive help according to what is your need and what is, in which stage you are, and we will do whatever we can to support you. Just ask for help. Just remember, you don't have to suffer in loneliness. It's another time, there is so many more possibility nowadays. And we know that all of us, we have suffered. And we know that even some of us, it was maybe in your family, generation after generation, and as like a genetic illness, as high cholesterol or diabetic, you felt like you're falling there. I know. And I know there is a lot of pain, and I know that you have a lot of pain. And then above all that, please ask for help. And above all that, there is hope. And if people like me is here and talking about it, it's because there is hope. If I get out of where I was, you can get out from where you were, from where you are.
Is there maybe a small exercise that you want to pass on to people so that they can like already start doing something with their breath?
Yeah. Yeah. I was trained with our dear Leonard Orr. And I remember Leonard telling us, there is so many moments in life that you think you're taking a pause, counting to 10, but actually you're not. When you count to 10, you're not pausing, you're not breathing, you just stop maybe for 10 seconds, and then you're going to say what you wanted to say before. So that doesn't make you a good listener, or doesn't make you a good communicator. And above all, stop your breathing. So when you are feeling nervous, when you are feeling attacked, when you are feeling in failure, when you are feeling that you can't, or when you're enthusiastic going to a job interview, even though you're scared that maybe they will not give it to you because you didn't have experience or because of your past, just do the magical, wonderful, miraculous 20 connected breathing. The 20 connected breathing is to ground you and to shake you and to remind you how alive you are. So you do 4 breathing, counting like 4. Let's do it. And then you exhale in 4. In a way, I'm gonna count that like a little bit of a short breath. You can do it between maybe 4 or 5 counts. So you do 4 of that, and then you intersect a very long, deep, gentle, embracing breath. Shall we do one set together and see how does it work?
Yeah.
Very good. So I'll count. As much as you can. And now exhale so gently and lovingly from the nose. Empty, empty. And when you feel that you empty a little bit more. And then you start again. Yes, so you do 4 sets of 4 short, not that short. When I said short, I don't mean that. I mean like shorter, and then 4 short and 1 very long. Do this set 4 times, so you will have the 20 CCB, as we call them, 20 conscious connected breathing. And I also want you to do this exercise sometime without closing your eyes, because sometimes you need this exercise when you're in a meeting, when you're driving. So we don't want you to connect to breathing only with relaxation, like you're going to meditate or you're going to sleep. So conscious connected breathing is to be conscious that you're alive, that you're breathing, not that you're going into, of course, we use it to meditation and to contemplation and to rest the face and close our eyes and kind of calm the senses, of course, and we use it for silence retreat and before going to sleep. But for you, especially we're talking about people who are in recovery or still didn't go to recovery, you need to be awake using the one thing that belongs to you, that you don't have to pay for, that you don't have to go into legal problem for, that belong to you and is like a treasure, and you need to learn how to use it. So the other thing I wanted to tell you is that also I remember Leonard Orr telling me, you used to smoke. You know, smokers are the people who breathe the most, but the wrong air. So, you know, and he told me, you already know how to breathe more frequently and consciously. It's just now you're gonna breathe the right air instead of, or you know how many package you used to smoke. Oh, that much. Imagine. Mean for you it's gonna be very easy because now you don't have the cigarette, but you have the ability to breathe. And that was, wow, it's true. I have an advantage. I remember saying that I'm going to learn how to breathe the correct air. So in this special time of the corona, please, I beg you, stop smoking, minimize the smoking, cut it down, make 20 connected breathing every time you feel the urge to have a cigarette. And after the 20 connected breathing, okay, lit your cigarette. And once you lit it, turn it off, whatever, after 2 puff. Do whatever is in your hand to minimize, make goal for yourself, minimize it to half of it. Do it to half of it. Create uh, other goals, like I work with smokers, like, for example, say that every Monday morning I don't smoke. And every Monday morning you don't smoke. And you will smoke after lunch. So this is half of a day that you gave to your lung a rest. When you manage that for 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks and you feel comfortable, now you go and say, Monday during the day, I don't smoke. And then you don't smoke Monday on the morning, in the afternoon, you just smoke at night. Mm-hmm. And again, when you feel comfortable, then you take it at night. And yet that now you say, on Monday, I don't smoke. And imagine how much your lungs are grateful for that, your skin, everything. But the most important thing is that you're training that part of your brain to say, I'm in charge. I am in charge. And you will train yourself slowly, slowly. Then you stop smoking one day and then another day. And when you manage the third day, you stop smoking. Doesn't matter. It will take you maybe 6 months or 8 months to do the process, but it will work. Same thing for drinker. You know, when you go to a party, when you go to a pub, now we're not going to any place, or when you are in your house and you are thinking in pouring that drink, just delay it for half an hour and drink a glass of water with some drop of lemon if you want, or whatever. Delay, always delay. I learned something from an airline hostess, and she said 3D: delay, dilute, and deny. Yeah, so use all this trick in yourself to give the messages to yourself that you're gonna be in charge. That slowly, slowly, you'll be in charge of changing the rhythm of the way how you consume, to minimize it until you find the external help to help you to do the rest of it in case of need. And the breath work, always your companion, always. Delay the cigarette, delay the alcohol, delay that extra chocolate, delay that game, delay while you're breathing. It's not like you're not delaying in contention like this, you're delaying because you're alive and you have other things to do. Mm-hmm. Of course I can delay. I'm alive. I have other things to do. You know, distract yourself from that action to another action using the breath. And you're not going to stop yet, I know, but you delay. You give messages to yourself that you're learning how to be in charge. That's what I can tell you.
That's great advice, Viola. Thank you for that.
And also I want to tell you that people like me who have addictive personality, we can get addict to carrot, to green tea, to lettuce. I'm vegan. I can get addict to, I have to have that tea from that place, you know. It's like a way how we become so obsessive to something. So you know now, you know yourself. I read myself. As soon as I start feeling that, I just get in charge. Mm-hmm. Deviate, dilute, delay, until I'm in charge again. And then maybe I go back to that shop and, and if I give signals of getting again obsessed, no, I will never go back to that place. No. It's a place of isolation, of anxiety, depression, fear, self-hatred. No, no. So get alive, connect with your breath. And if you're listening to me and you're in any way connected with a rehab center, please, let's do it together. Call me. I have already a team that we're going there, and we will train your personnel to become breath worker, counselor, therapist, and mentors breath workers. So you can have that in your own installation. So you will not depend on us, you will have it yourself. And also I want to invite you, if you're listening to me, to search about us, the IBF and the Alliance, Breath Breathing Alliance, and all the institutions that also you should come and let us know about your work, about how much good you're doing in the world for your rehab centers and all what you do in the world. We should work together. I think people don't have real awareness about what addiction is, and how devastating it is, and how big cause of loss and death and incapacities it's causing. So we need more information. So we invite you all to come and mix with us in our organization, JIC, IBF, and all the other.
Absolutely, I cannot agree more. Well, thank you, Viola. Is there still something you want to share, or
Well, I want to tell you that addicts are, it's not that they are liars, they violate their own values because they are lost. It's an illness and it needs to be attended as so. We need to work all together with a lot of expertise, knowledge, motivation, and compassion to be able to combat together this illness and recover our youth and beautiful people that lost years of their life, if not all their life, in this trouble. So yeah, don't, please, if your son or your husband or your daughter or your wife or a member of your family, your partner, when you see the sign of that, so ask for support. And remember, where there is an addict, there is a co-addict who's doing the nurse or the ambulance, and you need support too. So there is institution for the one who's trapped in the addiction and for the one who's living with the addict, because cause and effect get mixed and it becomes bigger illness. So if the one who's trapped in the addiction doesn't want to go for help, you go for help, because you're the one who's living with that one who's trapped in the addiction. So yeah, and please train in breath work, find a breath worker in your area, and that's going to help you in the whole process, being an addict or being a co-addict or a member of the family. Yes, this is my message, and thank you very much for all this work you're doing, Reed, celebrating our International Breathing Day. Wow, could it be? It's fantastic, celebrating life. Thank you so much for all the work. I know how much work it is. Thank you. And count on me. I'm here.